So, immortal temptation takes over my mind condemned. I was definitely thinking about this scene. Here, let me actually see if I can just 50. Go. Definitely feel like I'm supposed to be able to hear this right now, and I do not hear it. Yeah, whenever he stabs himself like that with Yamato, and you see him literally falling weak to his knees, I feel like this immortal temptation of more power has brought him here. I feel like it really has taken over his whole life. I'm not sure if he necessarily feels condemned by it. I feel like he feels like maybe he's at prisoner of his own mind, of his own search and desire for these sort of, the more power thing. Always looking for more power and more purpose in his demonic presence. Yeah, I can't hear. So you can still hear me. 1 second. We're gonna work this out together. Hold, please. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. 1 second.
He could only do one thing with the crumbling flesh and feelings. He needed to separate man from devil with the strength of the Yamato. And eventually, the man became a true devil.
Sorry. Thank you. Yes, I'm here. So yeah, to me, this was the entirety of the first verse here. Whenever he stabs himself with the Yamato, splitting himself in two, to me, that is the entirety of DMC5 in a nutshell. The mayhem that ensues just because of this one scene. The fact that he can't get the idea of more power out of his mind. Yeah. So, you're wondering where my inspiration came from for that, that is where that came from. I feel like the more obvious version now. People caught on to this one pretty early.
A storm is approaching.
Little side eye from Virgil. I saw that. It kind of makes me laugh. Plus the color of blue alliteration with rain and storm. There's a whole thing there too, but we won't get into that. Yeah, I just remember hearing that and Virgil giving him this. He's already sick of Arkham's shit, I feel like, at this point. And he gives him that little side eye, and I feel like he's just like, yeah, that me. Here I come. But yeah, I felt like as soon as I heard that in my mind, that's sort of how it started out. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I think there's something here that I can keep developing the idea of. That's a good line. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, that's a good line. I'm gonna steal that line. Yeah, and I honestly, as a second folded purpose there, I was kind of hoping that the fans of Devil May Cry might catch on to these little subtleties and understand how I was trying to weave the character of Virgil into this song, whether it be literally or a little bit more figuratively, like we're about to talk about here in a second. The rest of this verse, this chorus, I do a thing that I just call word painting, where if something makes me feel a certain way, even if it doesn't actually literally make sense, like he's not literally a storm, he's not literally provoking, he's not precipitating a black cloud by himself somewhere. To me, it's just the idea that Virgil's always been like this lone wolf character. He's sort of lives in both this like angry and sad existence where he feel like he probably feels like he does his best on his own. Like someone's going to get in his way or try to stop him or slow him down. It's, I feel like almost also sort of a byproduct of that awful scene from the manga of him losing his mother and being alone in the graveyard and that whole thing. And it comes back again later, but I feel like that's where this whole lone wolf status really came from. Yeah, so then we get into, if I could go back and change one line of lyrics, it would be this one right here. And it's nothing to do with the fact that I don't think it fits. My alliteration wants to continue the slight rhymes a little bit because you have blessed, crest, death. And my first iteration of this line here was, forget the rest, I have been blessed, my family crest is a demon of death. And I feel like there's more not alliteration, but there's more rhyming in that, even though it's through slight rhyme. I kind of wish I had changed it. The whole Born in Flames thing, I was just trying to me, this is his ego trip. This is the second part of this chorus is his ego trip. You know, he rightfully clings on to his demonic presence. The demonic powers that live within him. And I do feel like he might feel like he's been blessed with that. Just in the sense that he feels like he has a right to own more of it, which is, again, his whole thing. He's always trying to find more power. It's sort of been his shtick since day one. And I think he always, when he's talking to Dante in DMC3 at the top of the tower, I feel like he's always questioning, you know, like, don't you know where you come from? Don't you know who your father is or our father? I feel like he's always saying like our and mine. And I feel like Dante just kind of blows past that whole, yeah, my dad's Sparta thing, you know? And I feel like Virgil's really, really into the whole, you know, this is our destiny. This is our legacy. So yeah. I believe this is the same scene that we saw earlier. Ah, right. Forsaken, I am awakened, a phoenix ash and dark divine. So these two scenes connected in my mind, especially when I was writing the song. This is like the fall of a phoenix. And this is the rebirth through ash. Urizen and V are both they're just skeletons of their past former selves here at this point, both barely making it. Urizen's freshly defeated. V's he's just limping over to the other half of his self. Just sort of, I guess, what you see happen here. We'll just watch it.
Do not struggle. For if you can't even defeat me, then you've already lost.
I will not lose. Not to Dante. I need power. More power.
I know. We are one and the same, you and I. But you've lost me, and I've lost you. Yet we are connected by that one feeling. While thy branches mix with mine, and our roots together join.
Ooh, there he is. There's our boy.
What is this?
Such a great scene.
Virgil.
Boom. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I was writing the Forsaken, I Am Awakened, Phoenix Ash, and Dark Divine. And the rest of this chorus is, again, it's just a lot of word painting. I feel like a lot of his decisions leave him descending into misery. I feel like he's always chasing his destiny. Some of these have double meanings. Like when I think about disappear into the night, it's not literally, even though maybe he did kind of, you know, abandon his child. We don't have to talk about that. But lost shadows left behind. When I was thinking about that line, I was thinking about it in two ways. One, whenever he splits himself in two and he leaves V behind, or V leaves Urizen behind, I feel like they're literally leaving a shadow, a reflection of themselves behind when they part ways. And then on the other side of that, I was thinking about whenever you are V, you have Shadow as a part of your playable self. He is an extension, Shadow is an extension of V's character. So to me, that had a little bit of double meaning. Whenever he becomes Virgil again, he leaves behind, you know, Griffin, Nightmare, and Shadow. So again, just a little bit of double meanings in there. Even if nobody picked up on it, it was for me. I really wanted to put that in there. Yes, obsession's pulling me. I feel like, again, that's always his thing. He's feeling like he has this immortal temptation that's always taking over him. He wants to just get more power. Again, I feel like you just sum him up. I need more power. He's always saying it. Fading, I've come to take what's mine. Quite literally, fading. Again, just a shell of his past self. And he has come to take what he believes is his.
Well, you're in luck, pal, because food's ready and Kitty A always makes too much. Hope you like loud talkers, too, because got a pair of those upstairs. You see something you like?
So cool. Never heard B talk about how cool she thought Virgil was. Never.
Get back inside now!
There it is. Boom. Taken. Let's get that pan. There it is.
I'm taking this back.
Now let's get this beautiful silhouette. And that's where we pause. That's a nice fountain parabola we got there. So yeah, fading, I've come to take what's mine. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory now at this point. Okay. Inherit the nightmare surrounded by fate. Can't run away. Keep walking the line between the light led astray. Again, nightmare is another play on words, just like Shadow was up here. I feel like maybe he feels like he was born into this. He didn't ask for it. He's never, I don't think, worded it that way. But I feel like eventually when you end up alone in a graveyard, separated from your family, and then later to find out that your mother's passed away because demons have killed her, that maybe you felt like you've inherited a legacy that maybe you didn't want, you didn't ask for it. So I felt like that was the nightmare that he inherited that eventually led to that awful day in his mind. Again, using words like fate, and again, to just bring up the whole family thing, and inheritance and fate and legacy, you know, all this stuff is eventually tying together into family and everything. Family's a big part of DMC. I feel like at the core, it really is just a big family story. Thrown in with a little bit of pizza. Yeah, I feel like it's something he can't run away from. Absolutely. And I feel like he is, even as Virgil, I feel like he's always kind of walking the line between being a good guy, quote unquote, or a bad guy. He doesn't really fall in to either one so easily. It depends on which game you're playing, is which version of himself. Is he under Mundus's control as an Angelo or something like that? Or is he fighting demons with Dante under the Qlipoth roots or something like that? I feel like he's always walking the line between the light, and he is very led astray in his own awful attempts to just keep gaining more power. If you want to think of it being awful. At least the way he goes about it isn't the best. I think we can at least agree on that. So, oh, the verse that I almost cut out. Not lyrically for any reason. I just felt like musically it wasn't jiving with me in the beginning. I'm glad I kept it in. It seems like it's a lot of people's favorite verses, so I'm glad I was able to get over my own self-judgment of wanting to get rid of it. All right, so through vacant halls I won't surrender. People have asked me if this is a specific reference to something, and this particular line is not. To me, all I think of is even if the place that you're currently at looking for power in his mind, even if it's empty or if it's a lost cause at that point in time, he's not going to give up. No matter what, he's going to keep looking for more power or some version that makes him a better version of himself or something that helps him be a better version of him. And then whenever we get to this, the truth revealed in eyes of ember. Computer is chugging. Boom. There it is. The computer's thriving like V's life. Yeah, no kidding. So, again, these lyrics, they're not always in order. They're not in chronological order. Again, I'm sort of just trying to paint this feeling of something that represents Virgil. Not everything is line to line chronologically correct or even character correct. To me, though, what I was thinking of whenever I said the truth revealed in eyes of ember, it could either be twofold. It was that, yes, he is half demon, Virgil, because whenever he pulls into his devil trigger or he does anything where you can sort of see the fire within him. Again, it's not a literal statement, more figuratively. And then you have this, more of a literal statement, the truth revealed that Dante does possess this demon power within him because of his father. So to me, this was like sort of the reveal at the end of the game that Nero was finally able to pull this out of himself because now he knows the truth. We fight through fire and ice forever. To me, this again is another double meaning. The more on the nose version is Cerberus. Whenever you fight him, you go through, electricity, fire, and ice. At least in Devil May Cry 5. So that was sort of the thing I was thinking. I'll fight through anything to get what I want. So that's one thing I was thinking. And another one is fire and ice. I was thinking about just the duality of Dante and Virgil, red versus blue, sort of like that endless warm versus cool colored kind of thing. So again, the duality of hot and cold, blue, red. Two souls once lost and now they remember. Again, this is about the duality of Dante and Virgil. I feel like as brothers, they did lose themselves. And I feel like at the end of DMC5, we finally get a little bit of a glimpse of what it would be like had they not lost themselves so far from each other. What it's like to see them come together, even for a glimpse. And another version of this that I was thinking is that it worked just as equally well for V and Urizen. They literally were two souls, or one soul split into two, that had to find their way back to each other again. So that's where these lines came from. Okay. Lurking in the shadows under veil of night, constellations of blood pirouette. Some of this stuff is just wordplay. To me, when I was thinking of the word pirouette, I'm thinking about the puppet marionettes from DMC1. And I think they were also in DMC 2 and 3. And maybe even 4. I'm having a hard time remembering all the specifics. But yeah, I was thinking of just a lot of wordplay here now. I don't think V or Virgil literally lurks in the night. I don't think he would hide himself. I think he would be, chest out ready to take on a fight. But lurking in the shadows sings better. Sometimes you just got to go with what sings better. But yeah, I feel like Constellations, it's like I was thinking about, you know, him slicing his way through enemies, and literally you would see the art of blood splatter casting these constellations on the wall, almost as if it looked like a galaxy of blood. Again, kind of gruesome, but you're just trying to paint a picture for people who are listening to this song. Dancing through the graves of those who stand at my feet. Again, I don't really see him dancing unless you spent a bunch of rubies to watch him dance, or at least be embarrassed by his doppelganger dance. But yeah, I don't see him literally dancing on anybody's graves, but I feel like he would literally spit at the feet of anyone who tries to get in his way, and he has no problem taking them out. That was sort of the picture here we're trying to paint. Dreams of the Black Throne, I keep on repeat. Again, his endless eyes, not on a literal throne, but just to be at the top, to be the most powerful. A derelict of dark summoned from the ashes. Again, playing on the phoenix thing. Stabs himself. He's now nothing but ashes and a past memory of himself. The puppet master congregates all the masses. This was, again, the puppet master part was another play on the marionettes being controlled by Mundus. And again, also that Mundus himself has puppeteered Virgil in the past to do his bidding. So maybe not the masses, but you know, there was a decent number of things I feel like that have been puppeteered throughout this whole story. Pulling strings, again, we're just talking more about the puppeteering thing. Mundus's overwhelming power to sort of take down Virgil. Pulling strings, twisting minds as blades hit. Again, you're just encountering fights, trying to get through things. You want this power, then come try and take it. Yeah, that's again part of the ego trip. And I think we all know where that line comes from. Dante steps up. Motto, I'm going to need that. Well, if you want it, then you'll have to take it. Okay. I'm going to get into this part a little bit musically as well. Beyond the tree, fire burns, secret love, bloodline yearns. Dark minds embrace, crimson joy, does your dim heart heal or destroy? So there's a lot of layers in this. And a lot of people ask me if this section is a reference to Devils Never Cry. And the answer to that is no, it's not. The melodic aligning was totally a coincidence born of this chord progression. This was the first thing I ever wrote for V-Song at all. And it was D minor, E diminished 7, C minor, and G minor. To me, I was just looking for something gothic. You know, if we tune this down a little bit, you get like the you get a version that's constantly over a D. You have that pedal. Sounds like a gothic symphony of sorts. Then you can play that exact same thing it's just all about how you use it. So a lot of people probably didn't even recognize that chord progression is still underneath that part. This was something that I featured throughout the song in several different ways. You can always go back and listen and see if you can catch it. And then I knew when I got to the bridge, I wanted to do something tender. I wanted to do something a little bit softer. I wanted to reach into Virgil's psyche a little bit further beyond than I want power, or I'm such a badass. I'm so cool. all this other stuff. I feel like there's a part in him that he would never literally say, but I wanted to talk about it. And to me, when I started reaching into this chord progression again, I needed to find a melody that was going to work and that would fit into it. So I started thinking, an open fifth is such a great place to start for something that's a little bit more soaring. So that's where the idea of this started out and where it came from. So yeah, I wrote everything on the piano, by the way, before I touched any production. To me, it just made more sense arrangement-wise to sort of figure out what song I was writing before I started writing too many lyrics or too many melodies or having recordings or any sort of like bass production or guitar and any of that stuff. So let's open this up. There were a few sections here. I didn't just kill my computer trying to open it. There we go. This was the first image. He's right here. Beyond the tree, fire burns. I feel like this night that all this stuff happened to Virgil when he was separated from his mother because of the demon attack. I feel like this is where it all started. This was sort of like the penultimate version of every reason why Virgil does everything that he does. And I could not get this image out of my mind. Beyond the tree. He's just staring. He knows what's happening. Or at least he knows something bad is happening. Just over this hill and beyond this tree. This whole section is so... I couldn't get it out of my head when I was writing this song, and I knew that I had to do something with it. It's such a great, great scene, and there's so much good imagery inside of this. It's so crazy. Yeah. There it is again. Beyond the tree. So to me, when I look at this and I see this imagery of him becoming who he becomes, and I'm leaning into this chord progression that I've already written, and I'm adding in this melody. It is tragic. I felt like there's a very much a tragic side to Virgil. I don't think he's gonna literally shed a tear, or I don't think he's ever gonna talk about how lonely he may have been through any of this journey. But it's there. I feel like there's no way you live half demon, half human, and you don't feel the absence of your mother or the absence of a childhood that you might feel that you were robbed because of that night. So yeah, I just want everybody to know, Devils Never Cry did not influence the specific section, and I wanted you guys to know how I came about writing this chord progression, and how this chord progression sort of birthed the idea with this manga scenery in mind, this melody. Yeah, B, you're right. V talks about how lonely. I feel like V, he admits to a lot more, and I feel like that's probably why it was such a good idea for us to be able to experience V for a bit. Him talking about the things that we might not ever hear Virgil himself say. Happy coincidence then? Yeah, of course. And I'm not too surprised. I bet whoever, whenever they were writing Devils Never Cry, I would imagine that they were probably thinking the same thing. What's a gothic chord progression? Diminished seventh chords. Come on. It's like such a gothic staple. And minor chords, we're not touching any major chords here. And it's sort of the same thing with the first chorus too, right? This is all a little bit tragic and tender, especially when you hear it on piano. But then you go from this G minor chord to a B minor chord. Something we do in film scoring a lot is borrow these chords that are sort of semi-related, immediate relationship. Sounds very dark. So, yeah, that's the overarching influence of this whole ending section. However, there are some more intricacies involved, like the secret love. I was thinking about this one scene, and to me, this is not canon, but this is definitely high Devil May Cry speculation. And I don't have any additional insights. I just want you guys to all know. So I'm not spoiling anything for you guys. I join you in the speculation. When we see Virgil, a lot of people take reference to this right here. Everybody has their own thoughts about it, but regardless of whether this scene has anything to do with it or not, we know that somewhere there's a secret love, and Nero has a mother. No. This. Sorry, Eric. I'm saying like this cutscene is canon. Don't get me wrong. This exists in the DMC universe. What I'm talking about is the guess, the hypothesis behind who this woman might be. It's never been explained, but it means something. Definitely means something. Sarah, yes, I'm gonna leave the whole stream up. Unless for any reason I have to remove it. This stream is going to be staying up for everyone to view later. Yeah, to me, this is the secret love that we might be looking for. Who knows? Bloodline yearns. Again, I feel like this is Nero's existence coming into lyrics. Dark minds embrace crimson joy. To me, this is just another essence of Virgil saying, I have no problem cutting people down who get into my way, and I'm going to take joy from it. Because I know what I'm looking for. And it also has two more meanings. One, I really liked being able to use the word crimson, because to me, it references V as Crimson Cloud. I liked being able to give that little nod. I do think it's too much of a focus to be nothing as well. But again, no one's confirmed anything, so I didn't want people to think that I was confirming it here on stream. I have no further insight into the storyline than you guys do. But yeah, another thing that V and maybe even Virgil, not maybe, but V and Virgil himself are obsessed with is the poetry of William Blake. It means something in the Devil May Cry lore at this point. So I came across this poem called The Sick Rose. There were some really great lines that were sticking out to me whenever I saw this crimson joy and secret love and does thy life destroy. It all came rushing to me. I was like, holy shit, like this is Virgil. Like it was so much like I had to start borrowing lines. I'm like, crimson joy. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. He's definitely the kind of person who would take joy from cutting people down, and seeing, himself gain more power. And the rest of this sort of just kind of secret love. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. We wonder a lot who is that secret love, and then we get to the last two lines. Does your dim heart heal or destroy? And again, to me, this is the dichotomy of Virgil. Which line is he walking at this point? Is he doing things that are so great, or is he actually helping? So, yeah. And I think that's about it. Bury the light deep within. This was the part that is a reflection of Nero. We have the embrace the darkness that's within me. No hiding in the shadows anymore. And then we have bury the light deep within. So Nero needed to embrace his demonic side to become the full version of himself. And I feel like Virgil's always trying to bury his humanity somewhere deep within him so that he can always either appear to or possess more power. And then, yeah, I feel like he definitely feels like there's no coming home. Again, like we saw in the manga, that's burned, no longer exists. That's a past former shell of himself that he'll never have back. And these two lines were more of just a feeling that I got. Not anything literal. Virgil's not literally in a raft out in the middle of the ocean, chilling, waiting for someone to come pick him up. I feel like all the chaos that he's had in his life was just fuel to leave him feeling all alone in his desire for more power. That really is all it boils down to. I know I keep saying that, but so now you know how most of these lyrics came to mind, what they mean to me, and if they mean something different to you, that's great. I never want to be the kind of person that says how they should feel when they listen to something. Music and poems can mean a lot of different things to different people. So please don't let me color your impression of that. Yamato wouldn't make a very good word. It would not. It would not. Maybe I'm going to save my computer a few cycles here. Real content. I feel like people came here for.